Back in April, I sold the Tesla that has been my home for nearly 3 years and set out on a whole new adventure when I bought a van instead. Hi friends, I'm Stephanie and this 2006 Dodge Sprinter is my new tiny home on wheels, RoxVanne. She is going to need a huge renovation before she's ready for my boys and I to move in full time, and I wanted to bring you along for the ride, so today I'm going to show you what I've done so far. When I picked her up, RoxVanne was already built out on the inside, but to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that the build will stand up to the way I live. So with my uncle's help, I am taking on a full build project. He's not a huge fan of cameras, so you guys won't be seeing him on here, but do know that he is the brains of this operation. I have started calling him my project manager because I don't know how I would pull this off without him. Before we started building, I wanted to get to know Rox a little bit better, so I took her and the boys up a forestry road and we spent the afternoon just hanging out like we used to in the Tesla. When we got back, it was demolition time. When I need to, I pick up construction jobs, so I'm not a complete newbie, but to be honest, it's been a while, so I definitely needed a bit of a refresh with power tools, and this was the perfect opportunity. There we go. Almost. I'm a gal on a budget, so the insulation looked good enough to keep, and I just left all of that in the van, aside from the stuff that needed to come out for reframing later. Aside from that, pretty much everything else came out of the van, which was both a lot of work and incredibly satisfying. It also felt like we were making crazy fast headway, which is always a good thing. Once we got the van stripped down, it was time for the exciting part, rebuilding. We started with a supply run, of course, and then I started reframing the walls and floor. Rox has a lot of curvy edges, so our goal was to square things off as much as we could. And then we hit our first snag. During what was supposed to be a quick trip into town, Rox stalled out on the ferry, so I had to call a tow truck to come save us, and then I had some fuses and wiring fixed before attempting the trip again. Unfortunately, when I got into town, she had a brand new problem and was leaking diesel all over the place, so we went right back to the mechanic to fix that too. Luckily, it was another quick fix, and all she needed was a clamp. I installed her backup camera as soon as I had her back, and then headed to a hardware store which had possibly the prettiest public bathroom I've ever seen to pick up more supplies. This is the first time I've gotten fuel in years, aside from the U-Haul. This is now diesel, so I'm gonna have to remember not to fill up with anything regular. I've never had a diesel before, so that's a whole new adventure. Not a drop to waste, folks. Okay, good to go. And then I made another huge supply run just for lumber, which eventually is going to turn into my ceiling and walls. How exciting. With the framing all finished, I started in on the insulation again, and that was possibly the most satisfying project of all because I had a great time cutting it. The rebuild up until this point has only taken us a couple of weeks, which is honestly amazing to me. I thought it would take a lot longer. So with the reframing and insulation all complete, we were ready to start in on the ceiling, which is probably my favorite part of the build so far. Nice. What do you think? Next up, we tackled the flooring. I really went back and forth on colors. I kind of considered a really dark color, but I think Snow's hair would drive me crazy, so instead I ended up with this light one. It was a click and lock floor, but it drove me absolutely crazy trying to get it together because it did not click and lock as easily as I kind of expected it to. But we did get it together, and then I capped it with aluminum on the ends and vinyl on the door side so that it doesn't get wrecked when I get in and out. My uncle also researched and put together my electrical system, which I am so thankful for because honestly, he's had to explain all of the different power sources multiple times to me, and I don't think I would have been able to take that on by myself. Once we're tired of van building every day, I also take the boys out on a good adventure because they're pretty used to being outside all day every day, and that is obviously not the case currently. Yes. Hi there. Okay friends, so I think this is where I'm going to leave you for today. I am going to get back into this build. We're putting up the walls today, so that is super exciting. I can't believe how much we've gotten done in only a couple weeks, but there's obviously a lot more to go. So make sure you like and subscribe to see the rest of the build and our adventures once we're ready to get her back on the road. And thank you so much for watching. We so appreciate having you here. I hope you guys have a great day.